Hey, Soul Warriors, have you ever felt lost in the noise and disconnected from that guiding voice within? Today's podcast reveals 3 powerful tools to reconnect with your inner wisdom and get out of your own way. It's time to remember how to dive deep into the heart of your intuition. Let's say goodbye to the external chatter, the doubts, and all the overthinking, and welcome home your brilliant, limitless soul self. Are you ready to get over yourself and tap into your soul's wisdom? Let's do this. Getting over yourself is a big one. It was huge on my spiritual journey. I know I fought it and was in resistance. I was an MMA fighter and I was, fighting to the death to stay in control of life. It's
I was picturing like um, our guides, our spiritual team saying, "Get over yourself."
Mhm.
Picturing that whole what it looks like.
I mean, you're never going to be perfect in your vision of perfect because you're visioning yourself through your false self. Because you are absolutely perfect when you are tapped into your intuition and you really know who you are as your true fill in the blank higher self, soul essence, all that is absolute perfection. So if you're striving for control or perfection or this or that trying to fit in, uh, you're disconnected a lot from your intuition and you're really into that heavily programmed 3D world.
This is no different when it comes down to it. I mean, we really do need to get out of our own way, and just solidify in was it how is it that you like to say, dial it in or something like that?
Yes,
Completely
dial it in.
dial it in to the things that you really, really want to achieve.
Right, because all those things that you're hearing in your head, 99% of them are total lies. And the reason being is because that mind that's speaking, it's just like opening up files. Pretend it's like Google. And you're putting in like, ooh, situation, friend needs to have a talk with me. Ooh, situation, I need to talk to my boss today. And it's going into the Google files, all the files in your mind, past experiences, feelings, meanings you've applied to things, and it's spitting back something, and then you're using that, applying meaning to it, and proceeding into the situation with a bunch of old crap. Remembering that all memories, we change them every time we access them. I mean, at least Google is accessing something and it's the way it's been in there. It's accessing actual records, whether they're true or not. Who knows? Whatever's on the internet isn't true half the time. Neither is what's in your head. So every time you pull out a memory and it's coming to the forefront to try to assist you in handling a situation or deciding, how you're going to be in a relationship, it's accessing things that you are changing on the fly because you keep adding new meaning because you're a new you every single time. You're consistently learning and growing. So those stories are shifting. If you're a little
Right.
more confident in yourself, you're going to remember it being a little bit more confident. If you're more beating up on yourself, that's probably going to feel a lot heavier, whatever memory you're accessing, because you're bringing that energy and inputting it onto that memory.
We kind of like overlook it a lot of the times, and don't even think about applying it to ourselves. And it is true. I mean, we go where our mind is consistently searching, doing different things like that, looking for input, if you will, so that we can determine, do we want to go left, do we want to go right, or anything like that, or if we want to proceed in a situation or just stop completely. And we don't apply these things that we do every single day to ourselves. We just kind of go autopilot or stick to the system, the systematic things that are going on. But when we deliberately start to practice, honoring who we are and really listening to the parts of ourselves that are yearning for some serious freaking attention, and amplify that to the, okay, now I'm going to go discover, I'm going to go really learn about myself, I really want to understand, why do I keep going towards this story, why is this story so in the forefront of my mind, if you will, so and really get curious about the things that make you angry, upset, depressed, sad, any of those things. because in there, in those moments is when the answers are very, very clear. And if you're diving deep into a story without reframing it to where you are right now, I think you lose it. You lose a lot of the the possibilities of it.
Right. Because if your mind is only accessing past information, then how can you possibly think that that's going to give you an output that puts you into that limitless, infinite place? Places
Mhm.
that you haven't even possibly imagined that are better than whatever you're envisioning of where you want to go and who you want to be.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is getting in your own way. So this is where we see a lot of people, because we coach tons of people that utilize all their energy and they utilize all their attention to try to shut that voice up.
Mm.
And that is the total opposite of what you want to do.
Yeah.
You don't want to shut it up. You want to pay attention to it because you want to grab in information. So we're going to jump into three ways, and that's kind of verging on number two. So I'm going to back up into number one. The
Mm.
first one is calming your nervous system, because
Mhm.
if you find yourself getting overwhelmed, anxious, depressed, feeling like you don't want to do anything, you're confused, you're stuck or whatever, pay attention to your body, because that's basically your nervous system is like it's your central nervous system. It is the central circuit that runs your entire body. When that is overloaded, that's when all these different things come into play, the stuck, the stagnant, or everything. And if you want to get rid of that, the body needs to calm down and be able to reset. But most of us keep overloading it. We keep trying to control. We keep trying to push on and push through, and we don't truly listen, or we're not taking care
Mm.
of our bodies on top of it. So, how can you tap in and listen to your body, ask it what it has to say? And it doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. It can be a really great conversation if you can sit down and have with it. But just a simple thing like, okay, I'm feeling stuck. I'm feeling like I really don't want to do this. I'm going to reset myself. And here's something really simple: snap, snap, clap, snap, snap, clap, snap, snap, clap. This is resetting both sides of your brain and reconnecting those circuits and calming it down. So take 3 deep breaths, going snap, snap, clap, snap, snap, clap, snap, snap, clap, and do that 3 times. So circular breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, snap, snap, clap, snap, 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 clap. You get the idea. This sounds silly. It's really easy and simple. You don't have to make a loud clap noise. You can do it really quietly. I mean, it's basically doing something on the left side, something on the right, and bringing it back to the middle. You can do walking, does the same thing because you're moving your right foot and left. So it's going side to side. Bilateral music does the same thing. There's like tons of different ways to reset your nervous system. Breathing, I find, is the easiest because you can breathe and you're supposed to be breathing. So nobody's like looking at you side eyed at work trying to figure out what the hell you're doing. Or, go to the bathroom and just take your 3 breaths then.
Right.
Every time you reset your nervous system, like you're saying, okay, body, I'm hearing you. You're overwhelmed. You're stuck. You're whatever. We're going to do this. We're going to reset. And I'm just going to go do the thing. Mel Robbins always says, go do the thing for just 5 minutes, so that you're
Mhm.
starting to do the reward loop of like, I took care of my body. So now my body can do the thing. And I'm
Right.
not going to just keep pushing it like I usually do. I'm going to go reset again, and then I'm going to do the thing. And maybe the body will be like, no, I could do 10 minutes. Or you're just in it and you're like, nope, this is starting to feel good. I'm in the flow of it now, and just go. But paying
Yeah.
attention to that body is vital. If you're having panic attacks, anything, feeling stuck where you're at, breathe, reset that nervous system.
Yeah, keep it simple. Keep it real simple. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be super complicated to reset yourself in the manner in which you're required so that you can do what you need to do in life. That's for sure. It, I've heard that also like jumping up and down also helps.
Yes.
That kind of like really like gives you like a jolt, if you will, and like resets you when you're planting your feet back down. And it's a really cool thing to do. Sometimes I do that. um, I haven't tried the breathing parts of that. So next time I'll try that, see how that works. You know,
It
but
works super well.
I would imagine so. I mean, there's so many simple things that you can do. into when you're activating the both parts of your brain. That's kind of like doing this center thing, which kind of puts everything in perspective, emotionally, physically, mentally. So yeah, you definitely want to keep an eye out for that. And when you're feeling like you're the energizer bunny, if you will, like
Mhm.
you're overloading. So be aware, always be aware of what your body is telling you, because let me tell you, it communicates with us all the time.
It certainly, certainly does. And then so the second one, you mentioned this earlier, is reframing.
Hmm.
So, how can you listen to that inner voice in a new way? How can you utilize it to say, okay, I'm hearing you chattering. I'm hearing you saying, I'm not enough. Like you've calmed the body down already. So, the body's in a good place. You've dealt with that. So, now we're talking to the mind. This time, you want to really like lean into imagination and curiosity, which you already said. So, why is the mind saying what it's saying? Why is it bringing up a certain file? What is in that file? What's the deeper thing? And you had mentioned, okay, once you get to that deeper thing, then real change can happen.
Hmm.
So, when you have the deeper thing, how does reframing work? You have the thing, okay, set it aside for just a minute. And now I want you to think of something else that embodies the feeling that you want to have in whatever that file pulled up. So if you say you had to speak at work or something and you like totally froze up and you kept stuttering and you didn't say what you wanted to say and it felt clunky and bad and you didn't like it. So now you're beating yourself up and your head's like, yeah, we suck at speaking and blah, blah, blah. And you look stupid and everybody was probably laughing at us and you have all that stuff going. So, okay, we're putting that aside for right now and we're tapping into, okay, when did I feel super confident and when did I nail something? And picture that when you have that feeling really locked in, bring in that old memory and picture them like locking in together, like a lock noise, or just something like a trailer hitch going when it hitches in, or a snap, and it's snapping together, and you're snapping together that feeling where you felt the way you wanted to, and impressing that emotion with that experience. And then you're putting that memory back away. And then I would loop back to number one and I would snap, snap, clap it in so my body calms back down because it probably got a little up, pulling up when you felt embarrassed and all that.
Yeah.
I Kobe Bryant, I don't know if you've ever this famous clip of Kobe Bryant where he missed a bunch of free throws in a really, really big game. And of course, the press, and he's on the world stage. So he has all the eyes on him and counting on him. So people are usually the first one to like, oh, my team, I lost the bet and my team lost because of you. And Kobe's like, none of that has anything to do with me when he was asked about it. Nothing to do with me. It's all just other people's opinions. It's all just stuff. And I don't take that in. I look at it that we all fail, we all succeed. It's life's ups and downs. What can I get from it? How can I grow from it? How can I evolve? And he realized that with the free throws, it's in his legs, it's in the bounce that you get. So he turned, and the next day he shifted his workouts to focus more on his legs, more on his bounce, so that he had more spring so that he could get that ball and make sure it went in more often than it had been. And so he used it not to beat himself up, but to be like, okay, I hear all the noise, I see it, it's not mine, I'm not owning it. And this is what I'm going to do about it because this is actually an opportunity so I can evolve right now. It doesn't have to be another, rock on your grave that you keep piling up all this crap about why you're not enough.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I was thinking about the stories that I have played in my mind. Just to give you an example, um, in how I reframed them. Well, the first thing that I did is created a safe space for myself so
Mm-hmm.
that I could entertain the story, the what had happened. So then I put myself in a situation where I'm look it's like I'm looking at a movie, if you will. So I'm detached from the story now. And this is where you start to get curious. Like you said, you asked yourself all these different questions, like, why did I say that? Why did I act that way? Why did I take that as my own when it had nothing to do with me? You start to get curious because you're in a safe container right now. And if you do get overwhelmed, like Tara says, you just go ahead and do the breathing and the snap, snap, clap thing so that you can get your nervous system back on track, but still knowing that you're in a safe place to explore the story that keeps going on in your head, and the story that keeps rearing its head, if you will, in your life somehow, because it's playing in the background of your mind, of your subconscious. So, again, creating that safe space, entertaining the story, and then asking yourself questions, and then you start to understand it a little better, where you can say, no, next time this happens in my life, I'm going to act this way. I am going to say this thing. This no longer hurts me. This no longer serves me. That's where with the reframing the story starts to come into play. And it could be whatever the hell you want it to be. Because remember that the story is in the past. Moving forward is now the future or the present moment, whatever you want it to be. And it could be whatever you need it to be.
I want to give you a quick message before we get back to this episode. Unlock the secrets of your soul for free with Soul Notes. Say goodbye to feeling stuck and hello to the validation of your alignment. These weekly prompts are filled with reminders, gentle nudges, and sometimes a kick in the ass, all with love from your soul. Don't just take our word for it. Try Soul Notes for yourself and see the difference it can make in your life. Trust us, your soul and you will thank you. Just go to soulnote.org. That's SOULNOTE.org. Now back to our podcast.
Right. So after you finish saying this no longer serves me, like you're getting rid of all of that, then you're like, I am confident, I am this, I am that. Like you're speaking in so you can hear yourself.
Yeah.
And this leads to number 3, which is new input. How are you putting new input into those files so that the next time you have to speak, a friend wants to talk to you, your boss calls you into the office, you have other files to access. So the mind is like, oh, okay, they keep saying that, they keep doing this. These are encoding new neural pathways. So I have new files to pull from. They're sitting in this energy more often in their intuition. So that's more of the stuff that they're looking for.
Right.
Just like
Exactly.
if you're using AI right now, ChatGPT gets to know, like when I go into ChatGPT and I search something, it's making sure it's not giving me fluffy spiritual stuff. It's not giving me super mundane stuff. It's learned like what I'm looking for, what my vibe is, and that's what it gives me back. So what do you want to fill all those files with so that when something happens, that confidence, that peace, that intuition is right there for you immediately.
Right. And because it's right there for you so quickly, trust it. It's there
Exactly.
quickly for a reason. So please trust it, because that is the direction you need to go in. That is the energies that you should, shower yourself with, and honor it. So yeah, totally trust it.
Right. So with this new input, like, do you find yourself, searching and watching endless videos on YouTube or scrolling on social media and trying to find yourself in there? And then you find yourself and you're like, oh, this quote's exactly me. So you send it to your spiritual friend and, put the laugh out loud emoji, but then you're back to looking for something else. You're not stopping and like, okay, why did that hit me so hard? Like, why does that feel like me? Does that feel like me because it's poking fun at parts of myself where I am getting in my own way? Or where my spirit guys are like, screaming at me and I'm like, la, 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 where's my sign? Where's my information? You thought that was funny. But if that's what you're doing, like that's your cue. This is
Yeah.
not keep scrolling and looking for something else. So we're putting extra noise into our systems.
Mm.
Or reading endless spiritual self-help books and we're doing the exercise and then we don't get our stuff or it doesn't turn out the way we want, expectations are applied to it, and so we ditch it and we go look for the next book, when this is all All these exercises and everything is all just supposed to keep leading you back to yourself, to knowing yourself more, to remembering who you are more. So are you constantly looking for how, or are you really digging into why? Because I was stuck in how for a really long time. If you just watch videos like 6 months back, I was like, I'm going to tell you how, because I searched for how for years. Wolf and I are live on here evolving and telling you our stories as we go through this. No one is your guru. You are your own guru. You know what works for you. No one can know you better than you know yourself. So stop looking to other people, other things for that validation and reflection of who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And know that logic, because I was also deep into logic too, is a form of control. Trying to put it in a box of what you already know to keep you safe. So you know exactly how to proceed. So this new input is like, yeah, I'm willing to take some risk. I'm willing to trust. I'm willing to surrender. I want more, so I need to walk into the unknown because I already know what this is, and this isn't filling me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of having the balls, if you will, to like really go that extra step and step out of that comfort zone. And then flip things. Like we have people come to us because usually something major happened, a divorce, some relationship issue, a job issue, a health crisis, something's going on with them, somewhere they're feeling stuck. And they're really looking at what's going on with the relationship, with the job. They're stuck in that story instead of like flipping it around. And okay, so if the thing is relationship, what is it like to be in relationship with me?
Mm-hmm.
Because if everything's always coming back to self and you're like, he did, she did, the boss did, my body's, a lot of people, my body's failing me. I'm just getting old. My body's breaking down. You're putting all this stuff on it instead of like, I'm taking care of my body every day and I'm energetic and I feel great. Like, how are you showing up for yourself? And what are you like in a relationship with yourself? What are you like in a relationship, period? How are you showing up to that relationship? How are you showing up at work? So if your boss has had to talk to you 3 times, you might want to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
How are
Yeah,
you doing your work? Are you gossiping a lot? Are you this or that? Or is this just not the place for you? And that boss was put in your life to show you that this isn't your path. Go follow your passion.
right.
It would simply be your sign. You'd stop making everybody the antagonist in the story and think of everything as an opportunity.
Right.
Sorry to go ahead.
No, because I was just gonna say that because you attract the energy that you're putting out. I mean, if you're talking to yourself a certain way, how do you think people are gonna talk to you? If you're feeling a certain way and that's the energy that's putting out, those are the feelings you're gonna attract. Yeah, so you have to pick up on the energies that you're um putting out so that you know exactly what it is that you're getting in return. So if you don't like what you're getting, shift it, heal it, reframe it, just really get curious. All of these things, all these things. I mean, I've spent most of my life asking why this, why that, why do I feel this way, why do I act that way, why did I just say that? I consistently ask myself questions all the time. But what I focus on the most is my part. How do I show up in the world? How do I show up for myself? How am I talking to myself? Am I saying all these negative things or am I actually being positive about my experiences? And that's where, honoring our curiosity comes into play. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's not very complicated when it comes right down to it.
No, we make it complicated because we're trying to resist, because we're trying to preserve the ego thing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, we can put up a video that we did last week on how to tell if it's your ego or your intuition if you're struggling from that, with that. And I like what you said about what energy you're putting out, because once you understand this and you start questioning it, then you can know, is this person reflecting back to me something I have within myself that I don't like? Or is this person, am I getting uncomfortable because this person is reflecting my brilliance back at me and I'm not quite there right now. So I have to like put it down, poo it away because it's not making me very comfortable. Or is the person put in your path or the situation put in your path so that you take a different path?
The energy that you put out is the energy that you will get back, because that is the dominant energy. So like being aware of that is so super important. I mean, I remember when I was a very angry individual. I attracted a lot of angry people.
Mm-hmm.
I used to get into a lot of altercations, and I kept thinking, I was like, "Damn, I'm the common denominator here." So
Yep.
it was, and that's when I started to check. Is like, what is happening? Of course, I'm going to attract angry people coming at me because I'm an angry person right now.
But I'm
That
sure you also had some people that were calm or stable or whatever in your life so that
few and far between. Yes.
yeah, because they just send you some examples to try to, crack that door open and get that light
Yeah.
in there.
Yeah. I mean,
And it's
I
for you to open it farther or slam it shut and keep going.
exactly. I remember a couple of people that came into my life that were very like low key, like didn't get mad or anything like that. And I remember thinking, is like, wow, they got their ship pretty put together there. That they don't get mad, and they don't get reactive or anything like that. And I asked one of them, how they get to that place, and they're like, I don't take life that seriously.
Yes,
And
life
a
is
lot of
supposed to be fun.
exactly, and what other people say, think, and do about towards me has nothing to do with me and everything to do with where they're at in their life.
Right. When you can start switching into not things are happening to me, but everything is happening for me,
Yeah,
and open up to that possibility, you start looking at things a whole different way.
yeah,
Is it an opportunity? Is it a chance to grow? Is it a chance for me? Because I keep saying I want to do this big thing, which requires, like what we're doing here. We're putting ourselves out on social media. It's
yeah.
brutal. It is brutal sometimes. And I know that we went through a lot of tough things with a lot of people saying a lot of crap. And I was like, why? I'm being so nice. I'm doing this. I'm being kind. I'm showing up. Why is this stuff coming back at me? And I realize now in hindsight that it was getting me ready for when we're on social media and we have thousands of people, with all their opinions being keyboard warriors, and thousands of people being super supportive and resonating with what we're saying, but we're getting a lot of both because that's what happens when you step into bigger things in the world. So things will show up to prepare you for what you're calling in, to prepare you for what your
Right,
passion truly is, to
right,
disconnect from caring about other people's opinions and really hearing that soul calling. And then
right.
you showing up when you're scared, showing up when you're uncomfortable, showing up when you really don't want to. This is how you really start to bring those new files into existence. You put that new message out that I'm being more and more every day my true self, and my false self, I'm starting to identify that, and pieces of it are falling away.
Hmm.
Hmm. So I want to round it out with like things that you can say. Like this is the dialogue you want to start having with yourself, with all that is, as you're accepting and really truly understanding that it's happening for you. Like, okay, universe, I surrender. I trust you. I'm done and tired of feeling unfulfilled. I'm done and tired with the false program self, under all of these shoulds and coulds and would haves. I don't want that anymore. I trust myself more and more each day. I am growing more and more each day. I am walking through all of these things because I believe that it is happening in some divine way that I don't even need to understand to support me in my being. I am walking with the plan. I am following my heart. I am listening to my intuition. I am open. And even if I can't hear, I still feel that pull in my soul. I know when things are like not feeling quite right for me. So I know when things need to shift. Deep down, I know. So I'm not going to say anymore that I don't get it, that I don't know, that I'm not connected, because I am always connected, always. And I am going to believe, I am believing from here on out that life is happening for me, not to me.
All right. And we'll end it at that. Be
All right.
kind. Peace.